A capacitor is made of 3 parallel plates of area A, with the 2 outer plates, on the left and the right, connected together by a conducting wire. The outer plates are separated by a distance d. The distance from the middle plate to the left plate is z, and the distance from the inner plate to the right plate is d minus z. And we can assume that the 3 plates are very thin compared to the distances d and z, and we can neglect edge effects. And in part A, the positive terminal of a battery is connected to the outer plates, the negative terminal is connected to the middle plate, and we're given a potential difference between the outer plates and inner plate as the potential at z equals 0 minus the potential at z. So as a result, the charge is distributed on the surfaces of the plates as follows. So we have Q1, Q2, up to Q6. And we're asked which of the following statements is true about the charges on the plates. Well, let's simplify the problem first by initially considering that this connecting wire is not there. So only the outer plate on the left and the middle plate is connected by the battery. Well, essentially the battery is going to draw electrons from the left plate, leaving behind positive charge, and push electrons onto the middle plate. So by superposition, 2 oppositely charged plates, where we neglect edge effects, result in an electric field between the plates, and a zero electric field in the empty space outside the plates. So Q1 and Q4 in this case will be 0, because the electrons are attracted to the positive charge, so the electrons are pulled closer to the positively charged region, so only the inner surfaces of the plates are charged, and now we connect a wire between the outer and inner plate. So due to the potential difference between the 2 plates, and given this plate carries positive charge, initially there's going to be an electric field in the wire pointing away from the positive charge, and that's going to result in electrons being pulled from the right plate, so they get to this side of the plate, and they get further pulled by the positively charged region onto this side of the plate. Because the battery is going to maintain the same potential difference between the plates, and at the same point, given this right plate is positively charged, the battery pushes more electrons onto the middle plate, which results in a positively charged region on the inner surface of the outer plate. So all this charge from Q1 to Q6, so we have Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3 plus Q4 plus Q5 plus Q6, so all this excess charge, Q1 to Q6, is equal to 0, because the system was initially neutral, and the battery is just rearranging charge in the current system. So when the 2 outer plates are at the same potential, the electric field through the wire is 0, and we have electrostatic conditions. So drawing a Gaussian surface inside the body of these 2 conductors, the electric field inside both conductors is 0, so if the electric flux through this surface is 0, and that's equal to the net charge enclosed in a surface. So that'll be sigma 2 by the area plus sigma 3 by the area of that Gaussian surface on the permittivity of free space. So if we took this Gaussian surface to cover the height of these plates, then what we'd get is Q2 plus Q3. And therefore Q2 is equal to minus Q3. And by the same argument, if we took a Gaussian surface inside the body of these 2 conductors, we get Q4 is minus Q5. And if we take a Gaussian surface that cuts into the regions outside the capacitors, we know the net enclosed charge is 0 from this equation, so the electric flux through both surfaces is 0, or the electric field outside the system is 0. So essentially, if we take another Gaussian surface that cuts through one of the conductors and this region, given the electric field inside the conductor is 0, and in this region it's 0, the enclosed charge, or the charge on the outer surface, must be 0. And by the same argument, Q6 must also be 0. So our correct answer is this one. And now we're asked to calculate Q2, being the charge on the right surface of the left outer conductor, so that with the capacitance by the voltage across the plates of the capacitor. So let's just copy this and reuse it. So what we get is epsilon naught by the area of the plate on the distance between the plates by the voltage of the battery, being the voltage across the plates. And calculating Q5, the charge on our left surface of the right outer conductor, we get the capacitance being epsilon naught by A on D minus Z by the voltage across the plates. And given the voltage across both the capacitors is the same, given this conducting wire puts the outer plates at the same electric potential, then we can take the capacitors as being in parallel. So the capacitance of the configuration is the sum of the capacitance of both capacitors. So we have epsilon naught by A by 1 on Z plus 1 on D minus Z, which is epsilon naught A by D minus Z plus Z, which is D, on Z by D minus Z. And the total energy stored in this system is 1/2 by the equivalent capacitance, being epsilon naught by A by D on Z by D minus Z, by the voltage across both capacitors. So given the capacitors are in parallel, the voltage across both capacitors is the same.